taking on an incredibly tough opponent. I've been waiting somewhat impatiently for the debut of Hurricane Shane Burgos, and it's finally here. He's a favorite. I showed you the odds.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people have been looking forward to the debut of Shane Burgos here in the PFL. Why? Because he's an extremely exciting fighter, one of the most exciting fighters in the sport, loves to move forward. He's extremely durable as well, never going to be afraid to sit in the pocket and trade strikes with anyone. I think he looks phenomenal at 155 pounds. He's coming up, of course, from featherweight, but I think this is a much better weight class for him.
It's going to be a fantastic main event in one of the biggest matchups we've ever had in the PFL.
I'm the 2022 lightweight PFL champion of the world.
Oh! Olivier Albert Messier knocks out Stevie Ray!
The target is on me.
If you've ever seen a Hurricane Shane fight before, you know exactly what to expect. All gas, no brakes. It's very primal for me. Once the referee says go, I'm not thinking about let me put on a show for the fans. My fighting style is in your face from the first bell to the last bell.
When you told me like, oh, you're gonna fight Shane Burgos, I was like, oh shit, like, oh, already? The training is different than last year. Last year I had a lot of injury actually, so I can do a lot more this year. I'm a smart fighter, and I think that's the difficulty all my opponents have against me.
I've gone to the ringer physically and mentally for this sport, and this is my life. I love this. I eat, sleep, and breathe this shit. And I'm healthy, I'm all good to go.
I'm a big fan of his, to be honest. I really like his style. He's really entertaining. For me, it's an honor to fight him, but I do think I'm a little bit better everywhere, you know?
And my focus is him and taking him out. He's the champion from last season. I'm looking at this like this is my title fight. This is a finale in my eyes. So I'm telling him to bring the belt because I'm taking him out. Let's have a war. This fight's gonna be a banger. I mean, he's on a 6-fight win streak. He won his last fight by knockout, so I'm hoping he comes into this one trying to knock me out.
I'm gonna do my job April 14th.
Cannot wait for that main event. Promises to be incredibly exciting. And of course, the beginning of a journey potentially for one of those men to a $1 million championship. Another stellar lightweight matchup in the co-main event. Cassius Clay Collard is back. He's taking on someone making their PFL debut, a very young Yamato Nishikawa. Let's start with Clay Collard. He's one of the most exciting, if not the most exciting lightweights in the world.
Yeah, no question about it. And that really says a lot. This is a guy who loves to move forward, a lot like Shane Burgos. It's not that he's trying to fight to entertain the fans. It's just who he is. He wants to go to war with you. He wants to get in your face and make it a battle of wills. His striking volume is something to behold. He stays extremely active. He will attack your body. He will look for that knockout. He's been improving all aspects of his game, and I expect to see a very sharp Clay Collard tonight.
Yeah, changed up camp a little bit in preparation for this season and this fight, doing a little more wrestling. We'll see what Clay Collard brings into the smart cage. But his opponent, equally intriguing. This kid, Randy, is 20 years of age, but has 30 pro fights. I'm talking about Yamato Nishikawa out of Japan.
I don't know how that's possible. I have 30 fights in my 14-year career. That is ridiculous. It's amazing. His father wanted to be a fighter, didn't quite make it there. Said he's got a son. His son is going to be a fighter. He didn't go to school. I mean, I'm sure he was homeschooled, but his whole life has been dedicated to this right here, being a world-class mixed martial artist. And already got 30 fights under his belt, well on his way. He is a submission specialist, so Clay's got to be ready for that. But this may end up on the ground.
For more on this incredible co-main event, we go to the fourth man on the broadcast crew tonight, ESPN MMA insider Brett Okamoto. Brett?
Thank you very much, Sean. And as Clay Collard prepares to enter his third season with the PFL, it is important to understand and to know exactly what he has endured before stepping into this cage tonight. Unfortunately, the Collard family has dealt with 2 tragedies over the last 2 years. Now, as Clay was growing up, he was one of 5 brothers. You had Corey, Clay, Hunter, Kesley, and Chad. In 2021, the youngest brother, Chad, died in a car accident at just age 23. And then last year, 1 year after the passing of Chad, the oldest brother, Corey, died at age 31 in a drowning. So obviously a lot going on. Weighing on Clay coming into this week. We spoke to him about it, and he just kept using the word hard. He is a hardened man, and if you have watched Clay Collard over the course of his career, you already know how hard this guy is, but that definitely coming in with a little bit of a heavy heart, and of course, our thoughts and prayers go out to the entire Collard family as Clay gets ready to prepare and fight in this third season. Guys.
Thank you, Brett, and we can only echo those sentiments. Everyone here in the PFL is hoping for good things for Clay and for the entire Collard family, and our thoughts and prayers are always with them in these hard times. Let's take another look at the fight card coming up right here on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and ESPN Deportes. We talked about OAM, Shane Burgos, Clay Collard, Yamato Nishikawa. We have a bonus heavyweight feature. Dennis Goltsov had some visa issues a couple weeks ago. They got those sorted out. He's taking on Cesar Ferreira, who's making his heavyweight debut. And then Carlos Leal and David Zavada. But let's talk about the first fight of the night. We get right to the action. Magomed Umalatov and Delano Taylor, who fought all the way to a championship opportunity a year ago. Let's start with the Prince, Magomed Umalatov. He is still undefeated, and a lot of people think he's the next big thing in that Dagestani fighter lineage.
He's got that great wrestling background, but this guy lets his hands go. He can beat you a lot of different ways. Very explosive. He's an amazing fighter and still undefeated. Can he keep the O intact?
Big power in both hands, incredible wrestling abilities. His older brother was actually a PFL fighter in season 1 at middleweight, and now Magomed Umalatov wants to make good on this opportunity and chase a $1 million championship. Let's talk about Delano Taylor. In 2022, he began his year as part of our Challenger Series. He finished his year in a championship bout.
Yeah, that's right. And he still is coming in with a chip on his shoulder. He is not impressed by Umalatov. He feels that he's been disrespected and underestimated. And Taylor showed what he is capable of doing. And I thought we saw his full potential there against former world champion Rory McDonald. Just took him out with the quickness, just a laser of a cross right down the middle. And he's a guy that he feels that, listen, I can win this fight in a lot of different ways. I don't care that he's undefeated. He hasn't faced the quality of competition that I have, and I expect a fantastic fight between these two.
He's only 26 years of age, Delano Taylor, so still potential for a lot of growth in an already well-developed MMA skill set. But how do we bet a card like this? I showed you some big numbers on the main card and on the late card coming later. We've got a team of betting experts. They happen to be the very best in the business. Of course, I'm talking about Jonathan Coachman and Ian Parker. Fellas, how are we betting this main card?
John, thank you very much. Great to see you and the guys again. I got to tell you, if I'm Shane Burgos, I'm feeling very disrespected. I'm a big-time signee, and you're going to give me OAM to start my PFL career because the last 5 outings for OAM, let's go ahead and take a look at them. They're all W's, but as you look a little bit closer, 4 of them are by decision. Something to think about. PFL, it's all about bonus points. There you can see W, 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 all the way down. So let's bring in Ian Parker, and let's fire up the big board for the 3rd week in a row. Now, Shane Burgos does come in as the betting favorite. But Ian Parker, what are we going to do?
You know, Coach, it's really interesting because during the week, Shane Burgos started out at plus 115. As the night's getting closer, he is now the favorite, as you just mentioned. So if you take a look at the PFL betting big board, I got him right now at minus 115. Now, we talk about the IQ of OAM, how he's gotten better overall, the evolution in his striking, which we saw against Stevie Ray. However, with that lateral movement, we saw Stevie Ray take advantage of that first round, win that first round, moving forward with pressure. When you think of pressure, I think of a hurricane, I think of Shane Burgos. I think if Shane Burgos can move forward, prevent the takedowns of OAM, and not allow the movement so much, Burgos may be a real problem. He can go all 3 rounds at a crazy pace. I'm going to go ahead and take a leap of faith with Shane Burgos. Not so much of a leap of faith, he's the favorite, but OAM is a very tough puzzle to solve. I'm going Shane Burgos with that first play.
Wow, very, very interesting, Ian Parker. So Shane Burgos is 1. But now let's move on to an OG, a tough guy in the PFL. Of course, we're talking about Clay Collard, but his number is north of minus 200. So I know, if I know you, you've got something for me to bring that number down. Talk to me.
Look, Clay Collard is as fun as it gets when it comes to fighting, and he is like the perfect match for the PFL format. He's going to come to finish, and he's fighting someone who, the guy said, is a submission specialist. However, his last two opponents are only, I believe, 3-14. Collard has the experience of higher-level competition. I think the striking is going to be too much. I do like Clay Collard. However, Coach, he is going to be part of our main card parlay. So we're going to start with Clay Collard. Moving on to the next fight with Carlos Leal. I think he gets it done as well. His opponent, good on the ground. However, Leal is also a black belt jiu-jitsu. We've seen his striking against Ray Cooper. We know he carries the power. He is going to be that second leg, and as you take a look and see, the odds keep dropping. We're already at a plus number. Last but not least, look, Delano Taylor showed us all something last season. Challenger Series, all the way to the championship against Saddam Hussein. However, he is fighting someone, Umalatov, that you and I spoke about this last season. He was my pick to win the whole thing until visa issues took him out. I think he gets back on track no matter how he does it. Give me Umalatov as that third leg. We're going to be at plus 194 for that parlay.
Now, speaking of visa issues, Dennis Golsop also had visa issues last season for the PFL. And we've already seen the big boys, but he's fighting tonight. So as we look at his odds, boy, they are high. But I know you'll give me something to bring that down to something we can play.
Coach, I wish I was joking. There may be value at minus 700 in this fight. Look, Cesar Mutante Ferreira is a good fighter. He's a great fighter. Middleweight, then at 205 last season, we saw against Hamlin. He went down with that knee injury. He wasn't even supposed to fight, let alone fight at heavyweight against someone at Goltsov, who I think any day of the week can be the champion of this division. So Goltsov, all jokes aside, too high, anything can happen in MMA. I'm going to go by KO, TKO at only minus 165. I think he gets it done quick. I appreciate Ferreira taking this fight on short notice, but against Goltsov, I wouldn't even wish that on my worst enemy.
Now, Ian, if I know you, you're never one to back away from a bold prediction. And it's time for that. Brought to you by Puncher's Chance. Where are we going?
We're going to stay with that same fight, and I'm actually surprised that these odds are this low. At plus 255, I'm going under a half round. I think Goltsov moves forward and runs right through Mutante. We're going to go bold prediction under a half round in that fight at plus 255, Coach.
I got to tell you, people want to tune in right from the jump tonight. We have plenty more picks coming up for the rest of the card. But right now, we're going to settle here and send it back to my man, Sean O'Connor. Sean.
All right, thank you, Coach. Those guys always helping you take it to the pay window. Cash those tickets. Ian Parker mentioned Clay Collard as part of his parlay. Sometimes people think I'm using hyperbole when I say he's the most exciting lightweight on planet Earth. He's part of our main card tonight. Take another look at what Clay Collard is capable of. Cassius Clay Collard, one of the most exciting fighters in any weight class anywhere.
Biggest key to my victories, I don't slow down, I don't get tired, I don't burn out, at least not before you do.
Oh, Collard puts Anthony Pettis down.
Oh, here's the takedown. Nice job.
And they trade left hooks.
Oh, that lead hand hurt Jeremy.
I'm coming in there to fight and do what I love to do.
Collard now trying to attack the back. He's got in the choke.
As long as I keep that mindset, I know I'm gonna perform well.
Collard keeping a crazy pace early again.
I wanted that $1 million last year, and I think it got stolen from me. I'm the man to beat, so come at me.
Oh, those combinations by Collard are sharp.
And once again, wobbles Anthony Pettis.
Where it comes from. Why some have it and some don't. It's the fighting spirit. It consumes fear and weakness. It stands ready to fight whatever shape the battle takes. Because as long as there are battles, there will always be Marines.
This is the hardest competition in sport, never mind combat.
But it is hard, doesn't matter if you're injured, you kind of just got to fight through it.
It was crazy, a crazy experience. This was hard as
I think it was a little bit overwhelming for, how quick the pace is for the season.
Tá muito bem focado. E eu acredito sim que é dos maiores e mais difíceis eventos do mundo.
It is demanding, it is grueling, it is one of the toughest tests, but I welcome it.
You're gonna make this climb. You climb, and then you get thrown off the mountain and you have to start over again.
Com certeza é uma das coisas mais difíceis de se fazer.
Larissa!
The toughest test in combat sports, a PFL regular season, and then the playoffs, and then a championship. I can proudly say I did that, Kenny.
Yes, you did. And you had 5 fights to become champ, right?
That's right. And if you're talking about the number 5 individuals on the card tonight have made that climb successfully. They've gotten all the way to the promised land. One of them did it twice. Here's how the season format works, just to refresh your memory. 10 fighters in each weight class, 6 different weight classes, 2 regular season fights for each fighter, points for wins, bonus points if you can gain a finish in any round. The top 4 fighters on points for each division will make the playoffs, and at the end of those playoffs, a $1 million prize for the champion in each division. I cannot stress enough how excited I am about this main card. Tonight, starting at 7 Eastern. In just a few moments, we'll simulcast on ESPN Plus and ESPN Deportes. Incredible talent on display, a heavyweight bonus feature with Dennis Goltsov, a perennial contender back. Shane Burgos making his PFL debut against last year's champion. And then the action continues on the late card. Equally exciting and even more championship representation here. Natan Schultz has 2 lightweight belts. Magomed Karamov and Sada Boussi each have a championship, and so does Haush Manfio, as you take a look at the odds there. Sean O'Connell, Randy Couture, Kenny Florian. A fight you are looking forward to on the late card, Randy.
I'm glad to see Magomed Karamov back in the PFL cage. He's our 2018 champion. This guy's got great hands, that well-known Dagestani wrestling, very, very slick submissions. There he is catching Ray Cooper in 2018 to be the first champion and one of those early millionaires. We call him Maga Millions. This guy's the Ezekiel choke there. Very, very slick competitor. His footwork, his striking, it's all there. This is a well-rounded, very refined fighter. Glad to see him back.
So one former welterweight champ there. Kenny, you look at any other former welterweight champs?
Yeah, absolutely, Sada Boussi. This is a guy who won last year, and you say you can really judge a man by how he gets up after he falls down. He failed a few times, but every single time we saw him, he was better, he was sharper, he was smarter. He finally won the World Championship last year, and now you kind of get this sense that there's this huge weight off of his shoulders, and now he wants to get back to his finishing ways and be a complete mixed martial artist. And the way he goes out there and executes, he's looking for finishes tonight and throughout this whole year.
It took him 4 years to get that championship. He climbed the mountain. He took home the gold belt. He also has titles in Muay Thai and in kickboxing, but now he's a full-blown mixed martial artist.
Getting to the title was one of my biggest accomplishments, just because I had to redo it 4 times before making it, So for me, it was all that I wished for and even more.
Sada Boussi says this is the best he's ever felt. He feels like this is his time to shine.
Now, I don't get tired. Now, I don't have any holes in my game. And now, I'm a complete MMA fighter, which I'm always trying to aspire to become.
Sada Boussi, 2022 PFL welterweight champion.
Nice right hand there from Sada Boussi.
I don't want to be a striker with takedown defense. I want to be able to take you down. I'm not done. I'm not in my prime yet, but I'm a whole different fighter than what I was.
Long-range weapons on full display by Sada Boussi.
my goal for this season is I have to put a lot of focus on my wrestling and my grappling.
Delano Taylor doesn't quite complete that takedown.
Now I feel secure there. It's time to get back to the knockout.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
Last year was my 5th world title.
Huge body kick by Sana Musi.
I want to have double digits.
He's got 5 world titles. He wants double digits. That means he needs 5 more world titles.
I'm along for that ride, for sure.
Let's go. That's an ambitious man.
Yeah,
all right.
Definitely.
I showed you some big numbers when we looked at the odds next to our late card, so we're going to need to call in the experts. Jonathan Coachman and Ian Parker, how we betting the late card?
John, we're going to start with the very first fight, the Ton Schultz, 2-time champ taking on Stevie Ray. Ian Parker, where is the big board going to take us?
Coach, we're going to go with a prop. We're going to go over 2.5 rounds here. I think the Ton Schultz forward pressure is a lot for everyone but Stevie Ray. Good hands, tough, very durable, hard to put away. So we're going over 2.5 there.
And you've seen the guys already talk about Magomed Karamov. He's taking on Ben Egley tonight. The number's huge, but where are we going?
We're going to go under 2.5 rounds here. Huge favorite. I think the biggest on the card. However, Ben Egley's jumping up in weight class, and Magomed Karamov is another guy who could be a favorite to win this season. Great hands, good submissions. This fight does not go over 2.5, and we're getting that at minus 150. I thought it would have at least been minus 200. Give me minus 150 there, Coach.
We are all set. We are going to be here all night long for you at home. But let's get the fight started. John, back to you and the boys.
All right, we'll be checking in with the betting experts throughout the night. Ian Parker thinks that Maga Millions comes back successful and quickly. He doesn't think that goes 2.5 rounds. All right, so we talk about returning champions. What about the newcomers? There's a bunch of guys that know the deep waters they're jumping into, Randy, but sometimes it's good in the sport to be an unknown commodity.
Yeah, sometimes it makes it more difficult. We can't find a lot of footage. You haven't seen their latest opponent. That's one of the beauties of this format, too. These guys all get to see each other. Now they know what they're looking at for their next fight in their second regular season bout. That's one of the things I like about the PFL and the PFL format.
Magomed Umalatov, Naib Lopez, both of those guys still undefeated. Do we see anyone's O go away tonight?
You know, I think Lopez has a very tough matchup against Shane Mitchell. He has fought a lot. You know, he does have some good experience, but certainly hasn't had the same kind of quality of opponents as Shane Mitchell, I think. So he's tough. He's game. He's going to move forward. He's going to push the pace, but he might have his hands full against Shane Mitchell.
Well, speaking of undefeated fighters, there's Magomed Umalatov. He is 12-0 as a pro mixed martial artist. Visa issues took him out. He's got that worked out, and he's going to be fighting Delano Taylor in a matter of moments. The same Delano Taylor who started 2022 on the Challenger Series and finished as a runner-up in the welterweight division. Both men with a lot to prove and an unbelievable card, starting with Magomed Umalatov and Delano Taylor. We are seconds away from regular season action in the welterweight and the lightweight division. The quest for a $1 million 2023 Professional Fighters League Championship begins next, right here on ESPN.
Let the bass kick. Let the bass kick. Let the bass. Let the bass kick.
You pour everything you've got into everything you do, and you never accept excuses. Every punch you throw, every stride you make, every chance you take, in the ring or in life, this is how you take your shot. An authentic 90 proof Kentucky bourbon that stands out from the crowd. Puncher's Chance Bourbon. Take your shot.
Yumi
kids think you can outsell us? Yeah, you can't compete with our sugary treats.
We have something better than sugar.
We have brookies and muffins, 15 grams of protein, 5 grams of collagen, and they're freshly baked.
A delicious snack that's gonna help you make gains in the gym, and it's gonna curb your appetite.
What else you got over there but sugar?
We're cute.
You're gonna have to do better than that.